What is up, you guys? So in this video, I'm going to be going over, just a couple of major news articles that have been involving AMD, Google, and Facebook. Mainly looking at AMD from more of a technical standpoint because I think that there's some interesting opportunity there. And I also wanted to introduce to you guys the possibility of me doing a kind of a portfolio for here on the YouTube channel. Pretty much every YouTuber here on YouTube does it. And I just figured, it'd be a little bit more of an accountability. I really didn't have any subscribers. I don't have that many to begin with right now, but I pretty much had no subscribers back when I was covering, AMD initially, Facebook initially, iRobot initially. And most of those stocks have gone up substantially since then. But since the majority of you, you're new here, you didn't really get any updates along the way. With those companies, I wasn't really putting out videos during that time frame. So I kind of wanted to make a clean slate, and I'm just going to be adding to a portfolio. Here, just a little template one on Yahoo Finance. And I'm going to be putting on a watch list every stock that I talk about on the channel. And then every time that I issue, say, a buy or a sell rating, I'm going to be doing it to this portfolio. And we're just going to be able to see, just based off of my opinions, how I do over the next few months to the couple of years. And, you guys can kind of hold me accountable. So the only stocks that have really added to it so far would be Facebook, because I made the video not too long ago about how I started a position in Facebook. Still relatively small position. I plan on keeping this portfolio. I'll say right now, this is going to be a paper account, and it's going to have $100,000 in it. And I'm planning on getting 10 stocks in total. And each stock I'm not going to let become more than, say, I think I'll put the cap at, say, 15 to 20% of the portfolio. Won't have any one stock over that. I'm going to try to keep it 10% on all of the stocks, just to show, how blatant stock was either hit or miss as far as my analysis. And so we're going to see how that goes. So again, like Facebook, I talked about buying or starting a position in last time it dipped. I did talk about how I added shares back in the Cambridge Analytica thing, my personal account, but because I didn't do that with a video and / let you guys know about it ahead of time, I'm only putting in the shares of the day that I did the update on the Facebook video. Intel, I talked about how I was starting a position because it popped above its channel, and I think that it's going to be able to take away a lot of the momentum from AMD in the following months. We'll see how that goes. Skyworks Solutions, I said I started a position with a very small amount, but it's still, because it still hasn't broken above the technical averages, I haven't started the full position yet, but I'm still keeping my eye on that. So realistically, it's a pretty decent time to start this, because all the stocks that I've kind of mentioned, together with the weighting that I put in them, it's all pretty much mute, and nothing's really happened with them. So it's pretty much starting from scratch moving forward. I'm just going to be going over stocks that I think would be worth, and then, maybe 6 months to a year from now, you guys can kind of look back and be like, okay, this kid knows no idea what he's doing, or okay, cool, he actually has some, public, track record for the trades that he's done. So just thought that would be cool. So enough of that. I'll be doing other videos about that and updating it along the way. So just going over a couple of the stocks. So AMD, there's a couple of leaks going on saying that the Polaris reboot is going to be launching pretty soon. Probably, before Christmas, I would imagine, since the Turing architecture GPU chips that NVIDIA just came out with, AMD normally follows suit relatively quickly with their launch. So it looks like they're just doing a pure relaunch of Polaris. Shrinking the die, improving performance. It's not going to be a huge increase, but it's going to at least give, people that prefer AMD in their system a little bit more of a, cost-effective alternative to the really expensive NVIDIA graphics cards. That, I don't know if you guys have looked at the price, but the 280 Ti, I think, is around $1,200, $1,300, something like that. Which is just, I haven't bought a new graphics card in about 3 years or so, and I bought one of the higher-end ones a couple years ago, back in the 900 series, but I couldn't imagine paying $1,200 for a graphics card right now. So that's kind of crazy, and I'm hoping AMD kind of, comes up with good graphics cards to really allow, consumers such as myself, or anybody that wants to upgrade, to get a viable card that isn't, breaking the bank. But that kind of wasn't really, too much of news. It was kind of whatever. I don't really know why people thought that would be, super newsworthy for AMD coverage. But I did want to point out that AMD's chart is getting kind of interesting again. For those of you that have been following me, I did sell out of AMD back at, $25 a share. That was, I have a bunch of videos about it. I won't really go into reason why with that, but I thought they were worth about $25 billion with the numbers that I saw. They sold. And what do you know, the stock price is almost back down to where I sold. And I'm not saying that as to like I predicted this. I'm saying that is because now there's new information and it leads to a possible interesting trade. So if we look at, AMD kind of got really rejected around the $32 mark. It kept, trying to get above it, but it really wasn't closing strong above the $32 mark. And so I'm putting that in as kind of my personal resistance level for where I think the shares are going to stop out next, assuming they continue forward. And what's really interesting is that the shares are slowly, or I shouldn't say slowly, but they're cooling off compared to this monumental run that AMD's had the past couple of months. And over here where it had this flag pattern and it started to kind of bop around 25 to 25, 25, it seems to be approaching that, and coincidentally that support level is the same level, give or take, as the 50-day moving average on the daily chart. So it'll be really interesting to see. I can potentially see AMD, really bouncing on the support and then possibly continuing higher off the momentum, or possibly just trading around here, not going up or down. I couldn't see it really breaking this level, with only realistically bullish news coming out so far. The momentum's still very good in the stock. It's given back 10-15%, but it's still a couple 100% in the past few months. So that's to be expected. But I definitely think that once the earnings come around here, it's pretty convenient that I definitely think that this level will be either used as a bounce off point or will be broken based off the earnings. And obviously, yes, AMD has a lot of volatility on its earnings, but I do think that assuming AMD executes well on this next earnings call, I do think the stock price has the ability to move, into the $32 to $35 range. I'm still not super on board with what analysts are saying. The analysts that are bullish on AMD saying that AMD is going to be going to $40, $45 a share. Personally, I still don't see AMD, based off of the numbers and based off of the estimates that they're giving, I still don't see AMD becoming that expensive. But I do think that they are capitalizing well, and depending on what Lisa Su does, I do think she's going to be able to sway investor incentives to believe in AMD. And if AMD is able to show, based off this earnings, that a lot of those companies that are holding off on upgrading the servers have started to trickle down into the AMD side. Again, I touched upon that in the Micron video. Definitely a lot of people are holding off because they were waiting on Intel, but Intel said that they're going to be able to meet demand. But if there are any of those companies that didn't already book, for their servers to be in place, they're going to be out of luck until the midway through 2019. So a lot of them might just kind of bite the bullet and switch over to AMD, and that could be a lot of possible revenue in the short term. Again, I personally do not see AMD taking the 30% market share from what Intel does. I don't think they're going to be going 30, 35, 40% of Intel's market share over the next couple of years. But I do definitely think that ball can start rolling unless, AMD either fumbles on this earnings or Intel, pulls something out of their hat and really, kind of brings things home. They are expanding their CapEx, but I do think it'll be a very interesting play with the news to come. I think that given this cool off right before earnings is very good for AMD, because if it was continuing to go straight up through earnings, generally that's when a lot of people take profits, regardless of what the earnings came out. It could be beat on revenue, raise on guidance, and it would still plummet. At least normally that's what I've noticed with tech stocks around earnings. If they're trending up, even if they have a stellar earnings, they still have a major pullback. So this could be good, and this could break, this news from the earnings could break AMD out of this what I imagine will become a consolation period, and then you could project forward. So it'll be really interesting. I might be doing speculative plays with a couple of AMD options. Might swing trade the stock. It's definitely not at that level right now, but depending on how it bounces around this support level I have in the 50-day moving average, I definitely think that there's money to be made in this area. So those of you who are AMD shareholders, and you're just kind of riding through this wave, let me know what you guys think. Are you guys having the same? Are you guys seeing the same thing I'm seeing, or are you just not even looking at that and you're just going, a couple of years down the line? Let me know. Anyways, so the next thing I wanted to go over was Google. Just had a major security flaw with their Google Plus platform, and they are now closing down Google platform over the next 10 months. This article kind of goes into it. I'll link down in the comment section below. And, it's really, data stocks are just not getting a good year this year. Granted, I find it funny that this comes out about Google, and one, because almost no one used Google Plus, and two, because everybody seems to love Google. Between the two major data companies, between Google and Facebook, the stock price didn't really do much. I think it was down like 1% today. What was it? Now, not even a full percent today. I guess it's bouncing at its 150, but either way, obviously investor sentiment is still very bullish around Facebook. With Google. Obviously, the things with both Facebook and Google is that they both have amazing balance sheets. So even when things like this happen and they have to pay a fine, they normally have enough cash and free cash flow to just pay it off and walk away, which is scary, from the consumer standpoint. But I definitely think that this isn't going to be a major thing for Google. But it could potentially be a buying opportunity, assuming that, some analyst comes out and really hypes up this as if it's a monumental thing that's going to make, Google get immediately regulated and things like that. I definitely think Google, out of Google versus Facebook, is safer. I think its valuation's a little bit more rich. But if this turns into a -5, 10% in the stock, I definitely think that could be a great buying opportunity for the long run. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Going through over to Facebook. So Facebook is trying to launch a product that probably is coming out at the worst possible time as far as its PR goes. So Facebook Portal is ideally going to be the new version of a house phone, from what I'm gauging with it. It's going to be a tablet-looking device that is going to rival, say, an Alexa. It's going to be voice automated. You can connect to it. You can pretty much connect your Spotify and everything that you connect with your Facebook to it. And ideally, I think it's going to be focused around people that are they want to call a friend, they want to message someone, but they're busy in their kitchen, or they just want to have that hands-free atmosphere, or they're very old, because the majority of people that use Facebook and purely Facebook are generally above 40, 45, and those are people that aren't super tech savvy, so they're not going to have their phone on them every waking minute of every day like the younger generations are. So I definitely think that this is pretty much going to be equivalent of what a landline used to be. I know really not many people have landlines anymore, but having this on your countertop and just being being able to say across your room okay, call or okay, message Jenny dinner at 6, things like that. I definitely think it would be useful. I think it'll be cool that this is definitely more useful than, say, an Alexa. My roommates and I, we have 2 Alexas currently in our house. We're a pretty tech savvy house, and we pretty much just use Alexa to either, check the weather when we're lazy, look up random obscure facts that, we just don't look up on our phone. So I definitely think that this is going to be more of a interactive and really starts to give a home that smart home vibe, when you can actually just straight up start calling someone or voice chatting someone, or going through all of your different apps that connect with Facebook. So I definitely think this product is pretty cool, but the fact that it's a webcam and the fact that people are speculating that Facebook wants it to always be on, which means that it could always turn the webcam on, this probably isn't the best time for Facebook to put out something like this when everybody is already harping on Facebook security and thinking that Facebook should be regulated enough as it is. So it's definitely going to be interesting. I do not think it was the best time frame for this product, but it will be interesting to see. I think they're going for 200 and 350 for the 2 models. It'll definitely be interesting to see how many, especially older people, baby boomers, not that they're retiring, want to use this, to keep tabs on their social media life rather than, keep their phone on them. Obviously, because, as you get older, it's harder to see things. I imagine most of them don't like the really small devices. So having this kind of a tablet vibe, right on your countertop might be a great solution. And so from a product standpoint, I definitely think Facebook's going in the right direction. However, really bad timing, at least for my thing. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Like, would you use this? Would this be cool? Are you just going to be completely against anything that Facebook pops out that has a webcam in it because you're not trying to deal with losing any more data? Let me know. It'd be pretty interesting. So that's just kind of a quick go over of a couple of companies that I'm following that I thought had kind of stupid and interesting headlines today, along with an update with AMD. Again, I do want to start this fake portfolio. I'm going to be giving myself $100,000 just to try to show you guys whether I am good or not with investing. It'll also be interesting for me because I do sim accounts, and like I have one sim account that I've been using for the past few years, and this one I've been way more aggressive with trading than in my regular one. But like as you can see, this past doesn't really work. So for the past year, year to date on this sim account, I'm up over about 50%, and I definitely want to start kind of showing that here on YouTube. And you guys can either give me feedback on like not all my trades are the best. A lot of my trades are profitable, but I can definitely keep learning. So if you guys want to give me any advice, I only dabble with trading, and this won't really be a trading based account. It's more so going to be swing and long positions, because I'm definitely not going full long with being at the height of a bull market. I'm definitely going long in a few positions, but I think a lot of my I'd say about 60% of the equity is going to be based in swing trades and possible short ETFs, mainly because I'm not super bullish on going 10 years plus time horizon right now, especially when I'm using as if I was immediately starting with $100,000. If I'm going to be treating this like as if it was my own money, if I had $100,000 in my stock account right now, I would not be fully invested. I'm not even fully invested with my personal account. I like to sit around, recently I've been sitting between 25 and 30% cash. And that's just because I'm looking for opportunities, so we've got some volatility in the past couple of days, but still no major buying point. But really, I just am not super, I definitely think that we're due for either another correction, if not a recession. Based off of what exactly is going on right now, I would see in the next couple of years, I would see more likely a correction than a recession. But again, timing that and predicting that is futile. So there's really no point in wasting any time about it. But I'm just using cash as a hedge for whether it be a market decline or not. I'm using cash as a hedge for market stupidity, and that's about all I can say. When you invest in growth, things get really volatile when they should, and really when they shouldn't. So when they get volatile and they shouldn't, that's a great time to capitalize, and that's how I've made a lot of my money, is generally after an earnings report that I thought was great, and a stock drops 20%. I made a lot of money off Baozun last year with that. I remember looking at my account, and Baozun dropped, I think it was 21% in a day off of an earnings where they beat revenue and they raised guidance. And I was so confused with what happened, but all I did was, I doubled my position in it, and then sure enough, if any of you are Baozun shareholders, the stock performed very well throughout the rest of the year. So that's about it. Just thought I'd let you guys know this video is getting longer than I wanted it to. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.